Some women are simply born rich, confident, and naturally magnetic to their desires. Let's be clear, this podcast is not for them. However, if you're a soul-driven, visionary, or entrepreneurial woman who's been on a mission to learn how to create a better future bursting to come out of you, welcome to my world. I'm Jo Warwick, and this is Rich, Sexy, and Free. I've dedicated most of my career to helping women get to their core power and unlock the missing pieces for their own unique success. You may already know me as the author of The Big Book of Love. With 30 years experience in psychology, embodiment, manifesting, and energetics, we will be exploring the keys to becoming rich, sexy, and free. So if this excites you, don't forget to like and subscribe on your favorite platform so you can stay up to date with the podcast. Welcome to today's episode of Rich, Sexy, and Free. And of course, I'm Jo Warwick, and I'm super excited because we have Sophie Zollman. She helps other women through business, through marketing, and she's got a very special side hustle that I'm really excited to find out more about. Sophie, please introduce yourself more to our audience.
Hi, Jo. I'm so excited to be here. So I am Sophie Zollman. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I am the founder of FMD Strategic Partners. We take the guesswork out of marketing to bring real results to 7- and 8-figure service providers. We are a fractional marketing department that does everything an in-house department does, except it's a fraction of the cost because we're not in your house. I am also an 80s pop Stevie Nicks witchy woo woman, Harry Potter nerd extraordinaire, poker player, beach lover, and a grandma to a wonderful, busy little 3-year-old boy.
Sounds like a very rich life. And the highlight there was about being a poker player. So just before we dive on in, this new side hustle that I understand that you're doing with your husband is being professional poker players.
Yes, it is. We have been playing poker recreationally for probably a good 15, almost 20 years. And in the twilight, so to speak, of our years, I'm in my late 50s. He's in his early 50s. The kids are grown. We're empty nesters. And retirement just isn't what it used to be as far as the financial side of it goes. So we decided to branch out and do different things that can actually generate revenue. And when you play poker more seriously, it can generate substantial revenue. So in Q4 of last year, we both decided that we wanted to give it a shot. We've been out a couple times now. I'm going to Vegas next week to give it another shot. In Vegas casinos, we've been to some casinos we could drive to that are nearby Nashville. But yeah, we've taken a long-time hobby and turned it into a revenue stream that we can make money at, have fun with, travel to other places and still enjoy it, because even when you're it's poker. You win some, you lose some. It's like life. You win some, you lose some. It's no different. So we take the ups and the downs. Overall, we're having fun. We're meeting lots of new people. And I'm sure, and long ago when we first started playing poker, I made a self-prophecy that I would be the first woman to win the WSOP tournament in Vegas at some point. It didn't set a deadline, just said that would be me, because at the time, and still to this day, no woman has won that tournament.
Wow.
And every year I say, it's because I'm not there to win it, because I set the prophecy, I set it in motion. No woman is going to win that tournament till I get there to win it.
I love that. And do you know what? That's such a great way for us to kick off. Of course, Rich, Sexy, and Free is all about, yes, it's about having success. It's about having money. It's about grabbing your life and living it to the fullest. And I love what you talk about, because we don't have to just look at receiving money through our business, our one level or career or whatever. When we have a different mindset, that it gets to be fun and we can open up to multiple streams, whether that's investments, whether that's houses, whether that is through doing poker playing. Myself, I opened up to a new opportunity and I've been signed by a modeling agency. It's for fun. It was like, oh yeah, that would be fun. Why not? Why not? And I truly believe that attitude, when you open up and say, fuck it, why not? It could be me. It could be me to do this. And I love what you're saying about you're traveling, you're meeting people, you're having a good time, but the mindset is different. You're not going in as a gambler. You're going in as a professional, which means You have a different attitude about those limitations, about seeing it like a business, of the risk taking that it takes to have a business, which I'm sure you've been in business a long time. And when you do things like having another business, it opens you up for different ways of realizing what I call the business of Jo is I am multifaceted. Therefore, my money is multifaceted. So,
Yep.
yeah, I absolutely love the energy that you're bringing about that. What would you
Thank
say
you.
is your mindset about going into that? Not just the fun part, but regarding the money. That would just be interesting.
Well, it started with when we decided to do this. Originally, I was going to go back to playing tournaments because we've been playing cash all these years. And we had an opportunity to go to a mini WSOP event in Indiana, a casino nearby. And when I went in and played a few tournaments, I realized the new tournament structure from 15 years ago when we first started was not conducive to my style of play.
Mm-hmm.
But the lesson in it was it allowed me to both flip my mindset and update my strategy for playing cash tables. And I'm doing way better. I am profitable more often than not on the cash tables now. And I even started practicing at an online site where it's fake money because I live in Tennessee where gambling's not legal. So I have to do it on a fake money site. But it has allowed me, it switched my mindset and how I think about playing cash and the strategy behind it. And also tapping into my intuition and my gut, like I've learned to do in my other business, because I've learned the hard way when I ignore my intuition, when I don't listen to body, mind, heart, soul, data, facts, whatever, as a combination, it brings failure. It brings issues to the table that wouldn't be there if you had looked at it holistically. So it totally flipped my mindset, my strategy, and how I play cash. And then practicing that strategy online on this website I'm on, I've really honed in, and I've had way more profitable sessions than losing sessions. And in fact, on the online world, I wish it were real money because I'm up over $50,000. I'd be, if it were real money, I'd be super profitable. I'd be really bringing in a decent revenue stream because I can play that every day. Whereas we have to travel to casinos, and my husband has a job, I have my business. We can't just go play poker every day. But it is teaching me how to play, and I can turn that into the live play and try the strategies and things I've tested on there that were successful, and just really up my game, literally, no pun intended, and make it a profitable venture, even as infrequently as we play it right now. Of course, that over time we will play more and more, and we'll travel more and more. But yeah, it is a business. It's different when you're really trying to make money at it, and not that we weren't trying to make money at it when we were doing it recreationally, but we weren't so just zoned in serious and, okay, I've got a strategy, I'm going to do this and do that. And here's my mindset. It's like that it was there, but just kind of in the background, kind of on autopilot. And now it's front of mind, front of stage, because it's a money-making revenue stream now. And you have to look at it differently and play differently and think differently when you turn it into something, turn a hobby into a revenue goal, a revenue stream or business. It's a whole different world.
When we think about gambling, so many people think, oh, it's just like throwing money at a wall and hoping something's going to happen. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of women do in business. They just throw energy, time, and money at the wall and hope something's going to happen. And actually, when you've been in business a long time, once you've, in any form, whether you're doing it through, as we said, through investments or through your own business entrepreneurially, or you've got a coaching business or whatever, you have to learn to, as you said, strategy, have a strategy. That strategy doesn't have to be a masculine strategy. It doesn't have to be, you've got to do this funnel and it works. It doesn't have to be like that. It's got to be a strategy that's aligned with yourself. And you very clearly said about, of course, listening to your gut. I've said this many times before and hear about George Soros, one of the most successful men in investments. He's been quoted over and over again. Doesn't matter what the data says, I will always listen to my gut first. He will take the data, he will take the information, but it's his gut, it's his body wisdom that tells you. And that learning to trust your body wisdom, once you've got it in alignment and you get to play that good relationship with it, it gets to be super fun, doesn't it? Sport was such a big part of my life, being a professional sportswoman. And again, that analytical part I wasn't just going out to ride a horse. I analyzed every part of the journey. It was very much about, how am I approaching the jump? How am I getting over the jump? How am I going after the jump? How am I going to the next jump? Everything was, how can I do it better? What is working? What is not? And for me, that's so deeply ingrained that I probably don't think about it as much as maybe someone who does it, because I am so deeply ingrained in thinking that way. It's natural to me. But when it isn't natural to you, when you aren't somebody, so that's why when I go in consulting, I'm automatically going, oh, what's this working, not working? That's where Maven, that's where I've been harnessed and programmed to do it. And we all have to find a way of thinking that. But when I started my surfing, it was the same way. I analyzed automatically, oh, how can I do this? What am I doing? Am I doing it right? Am I not doing this? How can I get to the outcome better? But even though it comes with practice, it came because I fell off a lot. Yes, I have a mindset that sees the big picture and I can see a small picture. Yes, I am a projector and that is the way I'm made. But also through the riding, through business, through having 4 companies, through being in it all the time, fallen off the horse a lot in business and physically.
Absolutely.
And you hurt your bum and you hurt your pride. And sometimes you break things when you're riding or snowboarding or surfing. But that makes you learn. That pain moment, that what you think is maybe a failure, is those moments that make you go, right, I can either sit here crying on the floor and having a tantrum, or I can use this information, dust myself down and do it again. How am I going to do it? So I think you guessed that I'm leading you into, Sophie, is I want to know, you've openly talked about how you built a successful business and made a decision that completely and change that. So I'd love to hear what your story, how that happened first.
So I got into the online business world because I needed to make money for the family without it all going to daycare. Back then, my kids were small. One was in kindergarten and one was, just a couple years old. And I needed to make money. I needed a job, but I knew going back to work all the money would go to daycare, which is pointless. It doesn't bring money home. It just goes to the daycare provider. So I got into the online world and I started searching for, back then, this is over 20 years ago now, looking for that work at home job. Working remote back then was not a thing like it is now.
Yeah.
But I found some websites where you could get that kind of work. I found truly a remote job as a customer service representative for an e-commerce business owner. And I worked with him for 4 years, growing his business from 50 grand a year to $500,000 a year. And I was making a whopping $12 an hour running the company for him.
Yeah, we've all done that.
Oh, yeah. I was fried, burned out, tired of doing everything for his business and not getting payment for it, recognized for it. So I quit, went back to being a stay-at-home mom. Well, then the house started falling apart and our lovely little nest egg that allowed me to quit ran away and I had to go back to work. I'm like, well, I know I don't want to do customer service and business management for e-commerce. Let's go try transcription because I have a good ear. I'm a fast typist. And I found a company that would hire me with no experience and train me. And I was transcribing teleseminars, remember, long before Zoom and all of those things. These teleseminars were of the clientele that I have today, the online business coaches, the information providers, the course creators, the coaches, consultants. I was listening to their teleseminars and I was like, ooh, I want to work for them. So I relaunched myself as a virtual assistant, knowing what I was worth and charging the right amount of money for my services, got on social media, Twitter and Facebook, lived on them. And I was doing this part was from my son's hospital room. My son was in the hospital at this time. He was about to have gallbladder surgery. And so while he was knocked out from the surgery and the morphine, I'm here starting a business, starting an idea. And I jumped on social media. I network connected and lived on social media for 6 months. Other virtual assistants connected with me, found me, networked with me. And then they started hiring me as a subcontractor. That's when the business was born. Back then, Sophie Zoe, Virtually There For You, was born. I created an LLC, started a whole business, the whole 9 yards, and it took off. And I provided virtual assistant services. I even built a team back then to do things I couldn't do. Grew it. In 28, I got an opportunity from a longtime client to go exclusive for 6 figures. And that was my goal. I was trying to find that 6-figure mark. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. Hallelujah. I found it. I'm going to do it. And I dumped everything else for this one client, thinking it was the bee's knees. And I was going to it was like, it's great. I'm down to one client. I can focus on this one thing and the tasks I do for them. I'm not doing 50 different things for 50 different clients. Don't have a team. Nothing. It's just me. I'm going to make 6 figures and it's going to be great. A year later, they fired me. They let me go.
Yep.
Thankfully, my intuition, because the whole time my intuition is going, you really don't want to do this. You really don't want to do this. Please don't do this. And I'm going, no, this is it. This is great. I've made it. This is the big time. I'm here. And thankfully, it kept talking to me, but it changed the conversation. Close to the end of for that year with them exclusively, I came up with this. I realized, you know what? This actually isn't enough money because that's all I'm going to get is this 6 figures. Yep. I can't grow to $500,000, $1 million, whatever I want. I can't have any real big money goals because I more or less went back to work in a job.
Yep.
So thankfully, my intuition was pinning me going, you could do a side hustle. You could do a different arm of the business. Let's put together a digital marketing agency because you can hire a team to do all that work and you can have both then. You can be this for this client and then you can have this digital marketing agency, multiple revenue streams, right? Yeah. I launched that, soft launched it in December. And then a few weeks later, they let me go.
The universe went,
yeah, the universe said, no, we're not doing both, honey. You're doing this.
Yep.
And so that was the beginning of me being a digital marketing expert. And I did that for many years. Several years later, I got certified in social media management, online business management, did some other trainings. And I was growing the business. I had a team, the whole 9 yards. And because I have marketing experience and operations experience, early 2024, just last year, I tried to marry the two together and make it operations and marketing. And that just didn't fly. A, people don't really want operations. And B, again, I was not listening to my intuition. But when I sat down and really thought about it and really listened, I realized marketing is my passion.
Yeah.
I love marketing. I love social media. I love Instagram. I love all the things that is involved in online marketing. And I already had the team of marketers with me. I still had the team and they all happened to be the marketing experts, not the operations experts. So guess who was doing all the operations work? And I was miserable because I really figured out I'm good at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a really good business manager and whatnot, but it's not my passion. I don't love it. It's not fun. It's not exciting. And so in July of 2024, listening to my intuition once again, I went, we're going all marketing. And we figured out of all of our years experience in marketing that, like you mentioned earlier, they're throwing money, time, and energy against the wall to see if we call it throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
That is not a marketing strategy. That is not going to get you any results. And we realized that we were even participating in that as well. And so we pivoted to the opposite direction, strategy. It starts with strategy. If you want to work with us, we have to do a strategy first. We do an assessment of your business, your marketing, all the things, and create a custom strategy that also develops a monthly marketing plan. And then you can hire us as your fractional marketing department. And that brilliant idea came to me in December. December seems to be a good time for me to have these brilliant ideas. It takes me all year to listen to my intuition wholeheartedly. So this past December, it came to me, we're a fractional marketing department. We're not just like an all-in-one team or a done-for-you service. We are truly a fractional marketing department because we provide the director of marketing, the people to do the work, the analytics, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, oh, poof, brilliant. So we touched up our marketing, our messaging, and our positioning. And then it also came to me that I needed to change the business, which this will be the third name of the business because several years ago, it went from Sophie Zollman, virtually there for you, to Sophie Zollman Next Level Business Support. And that's when I was doing a little operations, a little marketing, a little operation, playing around with those things for a few years. And so as of this recording date is not the date it's airing, but just a few days ago, I went downtown Nashville and officially registered the assumed name, or DBA as we call it in the United States. And now we are FMD Strategic Partners. Our new tagline is simple marketing, exceptional results. And we are launching all of this as I speak, as we record this session. So by the time it comes out, it'll be all full-fledged. You get to see all the greatness that it is. And we are now with our clients with strategy, with marketing plans, and providing the entire marketing department to them.
As most people online would say, there are people offering marketing. And we also know that as we've talked about earlier, the key to everything is about your passion. It's about what's behind it. It's about your story. It's about you. It's about what you bring. Why would it be any different? I mean, all the labels, all the people, all the things, but why? What is it about Sophie and your story and your passion and your ideas? What is it that makes it different from maybe someone who's listening who's thought, it's just another marketing conversation?
Okay, I learned the hard way myself. I've done marketing throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks for many years as well. I actually stepped in and started walking my talk last July when we made this pivot. And I made one of my directors of marketing, my director of marketing, and I can see the light. I mean, I can see the difference in throwing spaghetti and having a strategy and a plan and all the things. And it just lights me up even more and makes me go, okay, I'm doing this for me. But I'm not taking exactly what I do for me and doing it for others.
Yeah.
We still apply it because so many people, most of those marketing companies out there have a cookie cutter strategy, a cookie cutter plan, and they make everything cookie cutter so that it's easy for them to just spit things out for you. And everybody wonders why they don't get results. There's no purpose behind it. We have figured out purpose is more than just your own purpose. This is to help people with their marketing and get results and scale their business and do it through well-rounded, holistic approach. The body, mind, heart, and soul, the intuition, the data, the facts, and really getting to know my clients and their business deeper than most companies will. Because that is the key and makes it, that's what I'm so passionate about is we're not cookie cutter. We're not going to throw spaghetti against the wall. We're not going to put you on platforms where you don't belong. The other thing that comes out of this is we do such a deep dive into who the ideal client is. We can tell you where to go and where not to go as far as your marketing goes.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to strategize throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks. We're going to actually get down and dirty. And we love it because it becomes unique and it fits that person and they get to be a human being. They get to be real, authentic, and genuine. They're not trying to put content out there that is not them. Mm-hmm. It is all about them. And I've learned to be me in all of those trials and tribulations. That's the other thing is like we talked about earlier. You don't have to be this prim and proper business person. I get to be me. The Stevie Nicks, witchy woo, 80s pop. I get to show up how I am and be who I am. My magical Harry Potter office, because this office is decorated in all things Harry Potter.
Love that.
And it all plays into it because you got to love I love what I do. And I set myself in a work environment that I love to be in. Because even on the worst day, I can look up in front of me and go, oh, I wish I were at Hogwarts right now because I have a picture of Hogwarts right in front of me.
I love that. I love that. I actually went to boarding school. So Hogwarts to me is just a reminder of being at school. It was as magical as that. We used to sneak out at night and run around because it was on a stately home. And all magic wasn't literally there. It was very magical. And it does give you a different insight. Those parts that you're talking about, all those bits that make you up. I love that what you're saying about Stevie Nicks and all of those bits that make you. But I think I would like to ask for our audience, what would have been there is so much passion inside you, Sophie. It's undeniable. And you clearly are aligning with your own path. But in there is a darker story. There is a point of that, why it's so much of a driver for you now. And I think what we do on this podcast is very much, of course, look at that transformational story that's taking you there. And of course, we've talked about where you didn't listen to your intuition and made those choices. But like all entrepreneurs, have there been moments when you've really hit rock bottom, when you've tried everything or didn't find the right fit? What was it like for you at those moments of rock bottom, trying to work your way out?
The losing it all was my first rock bottom. My second rock bottom came a couple years later when I was building this new business and this new idea, this new concept. And I was working with a new coach and a new mastermind group and whatnot. And I fell back into hustle grind mode, working myself to death. I was working more than I was not. I was traveling a lot, going to events, different conferences, my mastermind group, all these things. And I was pushing. I was probably doing, if I remember correctly, because I was tracking it, I was doing probably at least 50 connection calls a month.
My gosh.
To try to get clients, to try to get partnerships, to try to get collaborations.
Yeah.
I
Lots of
literally
time.
was
Yeah.
driving myself in the ground. And rock bottom was a case of COVID
Oh, that's going to do it. Yeah.
that literally put me in bed for an entire day. I don't stay in bed when I'm sick. I work, especially when I'm in hustle grind mode. So my body just said, no, we're not getting out of bed. We're not doing anything. You're going to lay here in this bed because you've about killed yourself. And now you have a bad case of COVID, which could, because COVID can kill. So I'm like, oh my God. If I hadn't come out of bed later that day around dinner time, my husband was actually going to come in my room and see if I was dead.
Yeah.
Because it was a weekday. I should have been in my office working. I'm normally in my office working. He was just utterly, completely shocked that I'd been in bed all day. And he was worried. He was like, he didn't really think I was dead, but he was like, she's been in a bed. He's thinking, do I need to take her to the hospital? Do I need to call an ambulance? Do I need to, in that time, when I came out of it, so to speak, at the end of that day, so many messages and said, you're going to knock this off because you're killing yourself, almost literally. My mantra that I am learning more and more to live by came out of that. Ease and grace, time and space.
I'm laughing because ease and grace is my thing. That's everything that I sit into, elegance, what I talk about. It's ease and grace. It's how I ask and how I pray. So I love that. And it's so true. Yeah. Time and space. That's what ease and grace is. It's that flow, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was a really hard lesson to learn because I was very sick. And like everybody, I'm human and I'm like, okay, great. And so I slow down and I do this and I work on it. And then you slip into old habits and you start putting business first. Now, it wasn't near that bad. I wasn't in full hustle grind mode, but I was very intense on my business. And then 2 summers ago would be rock bottom number 3. And this was on the personal side. The personal side went deeply wrong in 1 week. My 2 grown children were having serious mental health crises. And to the point where we had to do an intervention on my daughter. Mm-hmm. And then everything comes in threes. Our family dog of many years had a stroke and had to be put down. Mm-hmm. In 1 week, 2 mental health crises, and the family pet of many years having to be put down suddenly. Another huge wake-up call because we all family first. I'm doing this for my family so I can have time with my family. And I missed all of it. I'm like, I had no idea my kids were struggling that much in their adult life. We knew the dog was going to be going sometime soon. He had an illness and things, but and all of a sudden stroke and put him down that we were not expecting. Yeah. So again, this time the message was, you're not really putting family first here. You're not really paying attention to your life, your personal life, your marriage, your kids, all those things. Rock bottom there was I could have lost one or both of my kids. I did lose my dog.
Yeah.
And it was all a shock to me. And I would be like, oh my God, where was I this whole time? I literally was like, where was I? I thought I was being there for them, but I really wasn't. And so the priorities, not paying them lip service. Family is my number one priority. I'm here for my children. They're grown, but I'm a mom forever. You're a mom forever. Just because I turn 18 and move out does not mean you're no longer a mom. Mm-hmm. And then I have a grandson, and he started out rocky health with when he was born. And so that made parenting for the first time for my son and daughter-in-law extremely rough. And all of this led up to the mental health crises. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really paying attention to my family. I'm not taking the time to spend with them, to talk to them, to message them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a helicopter parent where I'm all in their face all the time. But I was too withdrawn and letting them do their own thing and not really checking in like I should be. And the family dinners fell by the wayside, things like that. I've had multiple rock bottoms in different respects, being hit different ways, because sometimes one incident isn't always the one that gets you all the way on the right page.
Yeah. No,
It's
absolutely.
not a one and done thing.
No.
And so for me, I've had those three. 2019 was the loss of the business, was the COVID case, and then 2023, the family situation, and multiple wake up calls and multiple rock bottoms. And thankfully, I am surrounded by people who love me, who care about me. I always have a coach or mentor in my world. My husband's there. I have friends both online and in person, and it's leaning into those others gets you through it, but also the resilience, not giving up. Because back when I lost the business, my husband actually said, you can actually quit and just not do this. Because we don't need you to make the money anymore. You could actually just be, I would be a stay-at-home mom because my kids were grown and gone, but you can just be a sit around the house woman.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but I'm not done.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
All right. I've got the marketing agency. I still do want to make money, even though I don't have to make money.
Yeah.
That's my business is technically a second revenue stream. It's an additional revenue stream to my husband's work because his money is the bread and butter. My business and now poker. And then we're also doing some investing stuff as well. We're expanding our revenue streams. And I'm making sure I'm not overdoing it because I really, truly have learned the lessons, and I am learning the ease and grace, time and space lifestyle. And last year, the pivots I made in becoming I was marketing focused again meant letting go of clients that were no longer ideal, that weren't willing to step up into our new marketing system, our new marketing offer. And years past, I would have clung to them.
Oh, yeah.
For the money.
Yeah.
Just, I need the money.
Yes.
And
I know that story.
By the end of November, I was clear of all old clients that were not a fit, that were either operational clients or just not a fit because they weren't willing to step into this new offer. And they weren't able to. I mean, they weren't the ideal client anymore. Yeah. And I mean, I cleaned so much house last year. But I did it. But at least I did it strategically and by choice this time.
Yeah. And Sophie, these things that you've highlighted are amazing themes that women need, that are echoed throughout women being in business, because we have so much programming that says, A, we have to behave like men who were in the past programmed. A, they work differently, but B, they were also programmed to be like workhorses. And as you said, saying you're going to do something for the family and then never being there is missing the point. And I loved what you said about the kind of the wake ups of the universe. I know for myself, and I look back and think about when I was training for the Olympics and I was training and I was riding, my approach at that point, the people I was training with, it was a very toxic, very unhealthy environment. And I used to literally, the day I drove back, I wouldn't get sick all year. And I very rarely get ill as a person, but I literally, knowing that I would be driving back for Christmas to my folks, that last day, I would start to get sick and I'd be working that day. And as I was driving back to my parents, it'd be like a 5-hour drive, I literally was coming on with the worst flu. And I would get to them and then I'd be sick for the entire of my trip. And then I would leave and I would go back to working. And I had no life and striving. And when that ended, I translated that into business and did exactly the same. Because that program in my head was that you only get results by slaving away. And yet now that I know through age, but also through study, through research, through observation, the truth is that those results do not come from killing yourself. That is a Puritan program that does not exist. It's not real. and it keeps you small, and it actually depletes your energy so that you don't get the results. Whereas when we align with ourselves, which is what you've been learning, what I've been learning over my life as well, which is as we align with our power and our truth and our energy and our passions, and we balance it out and we connect with that, of course, we become magnetic that way. That's how life transforms, isn't it? It doesn't transform by that narrowing down and focusing your energy until that's all that there is, and you're bashing the hell out of it. All that happens is you die, you break down, you come to a crash point. So it's so interesting. But as you said, I've repeated that pattern a million times.
Yeah, I mean, we're human. It's going to happen.
We learn that balance. I think about in surfing, you have to learn where your balance is. And that's sometimes when you first start, you'll fall off the board because you're doing exactly that. You're leaning too much one way or the other. You're not in the middle. But over time, and I'm sure as you have, it's that you don't have to have such big wake-up calls. They become much more subtle. I had a little moment today, actually, for the fact that I'm very good at shifting my mindset to thinking forward. And as you mentioned about the loss of your dog, and my dog died 6 weeks ago. And I've talked about her on the podcast. It has been a very big thing. I've had her for 15 years and we've had an amazing life together. But I've been working really hard with my mindset, not hard, but choosing faith, choosing to live forward, leaning into life, doing what I teach. And yet today I got a terrible night's sleep last night, which makes when I don't sleep, it makes my nervous system very open, very receptible. And that's what I needed because God was like, you're not listening. And I went to the supermarket and I bumped into a friend I hadn't seen, and he was standing next to me, and I said, about Christmas was hard without faith. And he said, what do you mean? Has she died? And he didn't know. And because I'd been so forward thinking, I had denied the fact that it was only 6 weeks, and it knocked me. And I had to go and have a good cry in the car. And I was like, what are you rushing about for? What are you rushing about for? It was that reminder that the whole thing that she's taught me, yes, is about leaning into life, and yes, loving life, but also being present to the unfolding process. And it's not actually, and I thought to myself, and I thought, my God, I've been so busy planning and thinking and strategizing and getting myself and aligning with the vision and really expanding myself. I was already into August this it's not for the first week of January. And I thought, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for bringing me back to the now and letting that go.
Oh yeah, no, I can totally relate because 2024 was, most people had horrible pandemic years, post-pandemic years. Me and my business and everything were pretty darn good all through all that. Last year was my big bump in the road year. Yeah. But this time it came in gentle ways, in gentle lessons, in gentle learnings, because I call them baseball bats up beside the head. The universe likes to swing the bat at my head. I didn't have any of those in 2024, but I could see I was listening, because I was listening more, because I was tuning in more, because I have the right, an even better support system than I've ever had before. Yeah. I was able to catch myself beginning to go down the rabbit hole instead of at the bottom of the rabbit hole with the baseball bat and the big goose egg on my head. Yeah. Figuratively speaking. And I could have ended 2024 in the shittiest mood going, oh my God, I only have a few clients left. And what am I going to do? But instead I was like, ooh, let's turn this into the best thing ever. Let's rename the business. Yeah. Let's refocus the business. Let's reposition. And it pumped me up. And I'm like, I got to take the last 2 weeks of the year off basically because of all that. And I'm like, and I haven't done that in, I don't know how many years either. Yeah. But it's all showing me this is what ease and grace and time and space is. Yeah. This is what growing easily and sustainably is. This is finding your true groove. Yeah. And then committing into it. I don't do a word of the year. A lot of people do. Yeah. I have my two things. I have ease and grace, time and space. And then I have go big or go home. Yeah. But it's a go big or go home in with the ease and grace, time and space, not the, okay, it's time to go into hustle grind mode and kill myself again. It's, I have such passion behind what I'm doing now, belief, and I know what it takes to do it, but to do it easily and gracefully, not killing myself. My plans and my goals and my intentions and things are somewhat timeless and somewhat deadline less, because if you're going to do it easily and sustainably, and I've reset things and I'm changing the business name, it's what we've always done. I'm just repositioning it and messaging it in the way that is totally cool and really fits what we do and all those things. So I'm like fired up.
Yeah.
But I'm not fired up in the way, okay, let's hustle grind. Let's have 50 calls a month and let's try. And no, because the offer we have, the way we sell ourselves now, I couldn't take on more than 2 or 3 people a month anyway.
Yeah.
I get all those emails. Would you like 100 leads a month? I'm like, no.
I would not. And I think that's a really good point, as we've talked about ease and grace and we've talked about listening. I often speak with my clients about choosing what kind of car you want, what vehicle you want. Do you want what's going to fit your life? Are you chasing to have the Ferrari when what you actually want is an SUV because you've got a whole heap of kids and you want a family life? Do you want the sports car? Does that really suit your life? Or do you just want the upgrade from an old banger that you've been driving to something that feels more luxurious but suits you? More of a family saloon. That might not suit everybody. In my case, my car, but I'd rather have a plane ticket. I'm paying that always. But that spacious, often that idea people are chasing to have, as you said about chasing it, to have protecting your family, providing for your family and spending time with them, but not having that. And a lot of people chase to have more time and space and completely missing the point that when you're working from a business, that the whole reason that you've gone into having your own business is that you're supposed to work from your own pace. And that means that you get to have space, white space on your diary. You get to have, otherwise you're just working a job. You're just working for an illusionary job. As you said, you chose this one client. We've all done it. But the whole point to succeed, as I call a rich, sexy, and free life and a rich, sexy, and free business, is that you get to work listening to yourself, listening to yourself and having the space and the time now and the results, not chasing something that you will never get ever because you're chasing it. You're always chasing it. Yeah, always chasing it. Sophie, we are going to have to round up, and it's the theme of this beautiful about listening to yourself. So as we come to an end, could you share what's been the greatest tool for you to learn to listen to yourself?
What's the greatest what?
Tool that you've learned to listen to yourself?
The greatest tool would be exactly what you said. I've been chasing for so many years. I've been headed toward an end goal that I can't get to because I'm stuck looking at the end goal and trying to get there and not focused in the now, in the present.
So what do you use to help yourself focus in the present?
Meditation. And I just started reading Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
So that actually has made me look at meditation even differently than all these years I've been doing it.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing is looking at what I've achieved thus far. I read The Gap and the Gain last year. That's another book that was eye-opening for me last year that brings me into the ease and grace, time and space. Because when you're chasing that goal, you're in the gap because it's not there. It's like, I don't have it yet. I don't have it yet. I don't have it yet. It's a negative gap mindset. Yeah. When you're sitting here in the moment going, God, look how far I've come.
Yes.
I've done this. I've done that. I survived losing my business. I have a better business. I have, my family is together. We're healthy, this, that, and the other. But focusing on what I've achieved so far,
what you've gained,
and using the gain, being in the gain mindset, reminding myself, and any problem that comes along, immediately taking a step back, taking a breath and going, what is the lesson here? What is the silver lining here? What am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to change, do differently, whatever? When you keep in that moment, when you don't let your mind go down that rabbit hole of, oh my God, this happened, it sucks, I suck, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, it's awareness. It's awareness. And I've practicing awareness, practicing meditation,
Mm.
practicing being in the game and the realm, the field of the quantum field and the quantum energy of that Joe Dispenza talks about.
Yeah.
Keeping those top of mind no matter what's going on so that you can take a breath when something hits you and you can stop. You don't go down to rock bottom.
Yeah.
You get to stop and listen and think and feel and figure it out in that kind of way.
Love that. I love that. There was something you just said there about the gain. It made me think about, I have a program called Money Love, which has been very successful with my clients to shift into understanding the resources of your life. And money and love are the two main resources. They're both energy and they're what everybody wants. And there is a lesson in there. There is a meditation about going through and looking at, it's called The Roots of Money. And it's all the aspects of money that you have ever had. We spend so much, we've gone full circle as we were talking about poker at the beginning, but we spend so much time looking at the money we don't have. But even making that shift, when you actually calculate how much money you have received, been around, experienced, spent, used, circulated, profited from the beginning of your life and calculated, we are all multi-millionaires in the Western world. We
absolutely
don't realize just how much money we are experiencing and how much money we're around, the abundance. But when you calculate it for yourself and you bring yourself to the gain, instead of the fear and the loss and the lack of where is the more, it shifts your entire frequency. So yeah, that seeing that, whether that's the love in your life, the money in your life, the energy in your life, the time in your life, just recognizing that you are in a constant overflowing, ever-flowing space that is always circulating, always coming back to you. I always learned from a wonderful woman that I loved, Christy Marie Sheldon. She was one of the first women I ever did a program with around abundance and money. And she always talked about, I define that everything in my life profits me. And that stuck with me forever, that I am perpetually in profit. And I thought, yeah, I love that. That's a great way of defining it. So
absolutely, I love that.
Isn't that great? And it just fits so well with that brilliant book that you said. So can you just remind us, what was the name of the book? It was from
The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan.
Lovely. That sounds such a great book. If anybody wants
it switched my mind. And I read that early last year before I started letting everything go and changing and pivoting. But it's what opened my eyes and the door to, oh, okay. And then I'm in the coaching and mentorship program I'm in is another one of those shifts that was like, oh, and what I love about it is future casting is what a lot of coaches, consultants, and masterminds do. We do that. You talked about doing it yourself. But instead of looking 12 months from now, which is what usually puts you in hustle grind mode because you think, oh my God, I only have 12 to do this. We look at 3 years out in the future.
Yes.
What is my life like? Who am I 3 years from now?
Yes.
And then step into that and be that person now and be in the moment as that person. And then everything flows from there. And 3 years from now, I'll definitely be that person with that revenue, that whatever, that life that I'm putting out there.
Love that. Yeah. The vision beyond the vision is a great way of, really expanding yourself to that. It's so wonderful. Sophie, it's been absolutely delightful and a great reminder for everybody to listen, to come back to themselves. Can you remind everybody where they can find you on social media if they want to come and connect with you?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X, and the website, fmdstrategicpartners.com. And I do have a podcast as well, Building Your Empire with Sophie Zoe.
Fantastic. And it will all be linked in below, but it's been absolutely wonderful to have you here. Thank you very much to our audience, and we will be connecting again next week. It's been great to connect with you today, but before you leave, if you haven't already, don't forget to check out any of my books, products, or coaching packages. Just simply go ahead and visit richsexyandfree.com. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the podcast.